Welcome to the Holistic Health Bites podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Nicholson, crime scene investigator turned functional health investigator. This podcast is here to share bite-sized episodes and unique interviews on a wide variety of health topics to empower, enlighten, and educate you to live your best, most vibrant life. Disclaimer: all information you hear on this podcast is for information only and constitutes individual opinions of the person speaking. This should not be taken as medical advice. Being a listener of this show does not initiate a practitioner-client relationship between you and the hosts or panelists on this show. Please discuss these topics with your medical professionals before making any changes to your health. Okay, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Holistic Health Bites podcast. Today, we are talking about your gut microbes and how they might be influencing your body weight. So could your gut microbes actually be causing excess weight to accumulate and make it harder to lose the weight? Well, there's a brand new study that would say yes. This study was published in the journal Gut Microbes, and it was a meta-analysis of 15 other studies and a total of 20 different data sets from all over the world. Through this analysis, they looked at fecal samples from 3,329 people. Of these 3,329 people, 1,494 were obese and 1,835 were not. They were the control group. And they found 25 predictable microbial species and 37 related pathways to obesity when they looked at these samples. They found reductions in short-chain fatty acid producing microbes. Now, short-chain fatty acids are just literally small fatty acids that are found in our diet. And they're often also made by our microbes. And these short-chain fatty acids are really important for overall gut health as they feed the colonic cells. So they're actually the nourishment for the colon cells that help to keep the intestinal lining strong and robust, all the cell signaling that we need for immune system function, for detoxification and nutrient absorption, and just all of the things. So these are really important microbes that are producing these short-chain fatty acids. And so they found that the obese populations had smaller populations of these important microbes. They also had an increased ratio of the two different major phyla of bacteria that we carry in our bodies. So we have two different major phyla, the firmicutes and the bacteroidetes. And these are like, if you take all the bacteria and you put them into big families, these are the two biggest families that we carry. And we want these to be in a proper balance. And they've found repeatedly in many studies that when this ratio gets imbalanced, specifically with high levels of the firmicutes phyla and lower levels of the bacteroidetes phyla, this imbalanced ratio is often also related to obesity. These alterations end up leading to disrupted metabolism, fat production, gut-brain signaling issues that can contribute to changes in your hunger and satiety sensing. They induce chronic inflammation in the body and can even result in absorption of more calories from your food. So eating the exact same amount of food, if you absorb more of those calories, they have a bigger impact on your weight. So I want to back up and talk a little bit more about this gut-brain axis, as this is a major factor that really deserves extra attention. If the brain isn't getting the proper signals from the gut, this can leave you hungry despite being adequately nourished or even stuffed. This also alters the hormones involved in the reward center of the brain that can lead you to having more cravings, to needing higher doses of dopamine rewarding foods before you realize the benefit. So this could be like someone who maybe used to really enjoy chocolate and one little piece used to work, and now you have to have a handful to get that same benefit. That would be an indication that this reward center is a little bit off. So it may actually be your gut microbes that are making you overeat. Certain microbes, like Candida yeast, are also drivers of sugar cravings because they thrive on sugar themselves. So your sweet tooth actually could be caused by yeast. Now, we've also seen in prior research that the microbial changes seen with obesity create more leaky gut, which can impair your immune function, increase inflammation, create food sensitivities, and cause obesity-related insulin resistance and symptoms throughout the body, like joint pain and brain fog and skin issues and other chronic infections. Obesity actually impedes the immune system as well by changing the way your cells communicate with each other, the way microbes communicate with your cells, and in the production of your white blood cells. So, if your immune system isn't getting the proper signaling, then your cells aren't going to communicate very well to each other. They're not going to tell your immune system that it needs to ramp up because there's a foreign invader. Your microbes also play a huge role in this, where they actually play a big role in identifying pathogens and notifying your immune system of that. But if you don't have the right microbes, that signaling doesn't happen. And if that signaling doesn't happen, then your immune system doesn't get the signal to ramp up white blood cell production. Reactive oxygen species from environmental toxins and ultra processed foods also are altering insulin secretion, creating overall inflammation and body fat production and maintenance. So, this makes it so much harder to lose weight because you're in a body fat production mode, and it makes it impossible to break down that stored fat. So, did you know that your toxins can also be surrounded by fat? So, if your body doesn't know how to detoxify something, or if it's overwhelmed, your body will surround those toxins with fat. This is a protective mechanism, but again, it makes fat loss so much harder because the fat's actually saving you from harm. Now, we are exposed to thousands of chemical toxins every day in our air, in our water, in our food, personal care products, cookware, home care products, medications, supplements, and even in our clothing. So it's really important to be mindful of the products that you're choosing and the ones that you have control over changing so you can reduce your overall toxic burden. Processed foods specifically have been shown to damage the intestinal lining, allowing for food and toxins and microbes to leak through, altering the signaling pathways and interfering with proper elimination of those toxins. There have been a wide range of studies that have looked at how to address these gut dysfunctions associated with obesity. And there's a wide variety of options available based on the current condition. So, this could include everything from simply cleaning up the diet, eliminating processed foods and chemical additives, and focusing on a wide variety of quality whole foods. This could also include doing a stool test or an organic acids test to identify the specific imbalances present, and then creating targeted protocols involving nutrition, lifestyle, supplementation to rebalance the gut. And lastly, there's medical procedures like fecal transplants from ideally healthy individuals into obese or unhealthy individuals. All of these methods have been shown to be tremendously valuable. The more severe the condition, the more advanced the remedy likely needs to be. So, the great news is most of this process can be done without pharmaceutical intervention, but can be done through diet, lifestyle, removing harmful substances, and adding natural supplements like herbs and botanicals, prebiotics and probiotics. So, if you are interested in exploring how your gut may be involved in your health challenges, whether that be with stubborn weight or fatigue or joint pain or anything else you've got going on with your body, the gut often plays a role. If you want to learn more about how it might be impacting your health, schedule a free call with me and let's discuss your options. You do not have to be obese or have overt digestive symptoms to have a gut imbalance. So, let me share a couple of quick client case studies to just highlight the differences that gut imbalances can show. The first is a client who, despite a full year of quality nutrition and appropriate exercise, could not lose weight. Her blood work indicated nutrient deficiencies, underlying inflammation, and most likely an underlying infection. So we ran a stool test and found multiple pathogens, including inflammatory bacteria, a raging yeast infection, and even a parasite. She had no obvious gut symptoms, but clearly she had a war going on in her gut. Her body was doing what it could just to survive, so dropping the fat was not a priority. The second is a client who had multiple low impact fractures to her back. Low impact meaning this wasn't because of a fall or because of an accident. This was doing normal daily activities like carrying groceries. She ended up with back fractures from carrying groceries. So she had been diagnosed with osteoporosis and had struggled for many years with constipation. Now, osteoporosis alone is a flag to me that she's either not taking in the right nutrients or she's not absorbing those nutrients in the gut. And the constipation also clearly indicates a gut dysfunction. Her blood work and stool tests also confirmed multiple imbalances in her microbiome, as well as low stomach acid and insufficient digestive enzymes. So, of course, she wasn't properly breaking down her food or absorbing those good nutrients, and that was manifesting in constipation and osteoporosis. And the third is a client who had a history of random bouts of swelling throughout his body, stress induced hives, digestive symptoms associated with certain whole good quality foods, and he had excess weight. So we ran an organic acids test on him, and that revealed yeast overgrowth, insufficient detoxification, and low beneficial bacteria. Now, addressing these imbalances completely stopped all the swelling. He no longer had the food sensitivities. He never experienced hives again, and he had improved energy for his workouts. And ultimately, he was able to drop the excess body fat. So there's just a couple of examples of how gut infections can manifest. And this is only a few. They can really manifest in a million different ways. So if you have a health challenge, I always recommend starting with the gut because it impacts literally everything else. So schedule a free call with me if you want to explore how your gut could be impacting your overall health. Until the next, be well and vibrant. Thanks for being a faithful listener to the podcast. I'd love it if you left me a 5-star review on this podcast so that others can more easily find this valuable information. Did you know I also work one-on-one with clients? I approach solving health challenges like I approached solving crimes, by conducting a thorough investigation into your case. Sadly, hundreds of millions of people in the US have insulin resistance, prediabetes, and diabetes, and the vast majority have no idea. I'm here to fix that. If you struggle with low energy, stubborn weight, hypertension, sleep disturbances, or any other undesired symptoms, let's talk. All you have to do is schedule a free call. The link will be in the show notes. And no, you do not need to live near me.